Shriman Venkatanatharyaha Kavitarkika Kesari Vedantacharya Varyome Sannidhattam Sadahridi. In this auspicious period of Shri Navaratri, I am very, very happy to be seeing so many of you being present in this live session. Before I could bring my thoughts in, I would like to quote the testimonials or the sayings of some renowned researchers, opinion makers and scholars. Here it goes. The American scholar Mark Twain says, India is the cradle of the human race, the birthplace of human speech, the mother of history, the grandmother of legend, and the great-grandmother of tradition. Our most valuable and most instructive materials in the history of man are treasured up in India only. The American author Henry David Thoreau states, whenever I have read any part of the Vedas, I have felt that some unearthly and unknown light illuminated me. In the great teaching of the Vedas, there is no touch of sectarianism. It is of all ages, climes and nationalities and is the royal road for the attainment of the great knowledge. When I read it, I felt that I am under the spangled heavens of a summer night. Here is an American historian, Will Durant, who says, India was the motherland of our race and Sanskrit the mother of Europe's languages. She was the mother of our philosophy, mother through the Arabs, of much of our mathematics, mother through the Buddha, of the ideals embodied in Christianity, mother through the village community, of self-government and democracy. Mother India is in many ways the mother of us all. India will teach us the tolerance and gentleness of a mature mind, understanding spirit and a unifying, pacifying love for all human beings. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer says, Vedas are the most rewarding and the most elevating book which can be possible in the world. On the Upanishads, he said, it has been the solace of my life. It will be the solace of my death. The German scholar Max Muller states, if I were asked under what sky the human mind has most fully developed some of its choicest gifts, has most deeply pondered on the greatest problems of life and has found solutions, I should point to India. There is no book in the world that is so thrilling, stirring and inspiring as the Upanishads. The French scholar Romain Rolland tells, if there is one place on the face of earth where all the dreams of living men have found a home from the very earliest days when man began the dream of existence, it is India. The British historian Arnold Toynbee states, it is already becoming clear that a chapter which had a Western beginning will have to have an Indian ending if it is not to end in the self-destruction of the human race. At this supremely dangerous moment in history, the only way of salvation for mankind is the Indian way. American author Ralph Waldo Emerson states, in the great books of India, an empire spoke to us, nothing small or unworthy, but large, serene, consistent, the voice of an old intelligence, which in another age and climate had pondered and thus disposed of the questions that exercise us. Scientist, the very famous Albert Einstein states, we owe a lot to the Indians who taught us how to count, without which no worthwhile scientific discovery could have ever been made. The German physicist Werner Heisenberg tells, after the conversations about Indian philosophy, some of the ideas of quantum physics that had seemed so crazy suddenly made so much more sense. The Chinese ambassador, make note of this, the Chinese ambassador to the US, Hu Shi, in 1946 said, India conquered and dominated China culturally for 20 centuries without ever having to send a single soldier across her border. And how was that? Through her knowledge. The biblical scholar and ordained priest Edward Pococky wrote a book, India and Greece, that India was the origin of the Greek civilization, Sanskrit, the mother of Greek languages, and the Greek mythologies and the names of peoples, mountains and rivers explainable only by Indian and Sanskrit names. And finally, the forefathers of Greek, known as Pelasgians, ought to have come from Palasa, that is Bihar. This is what he states. Many more quotations I have. You may be wondering why I did ever start with the testimonials of some of the American scholars, European scholars, French, German, Russian, Chinese. Why couldn't you come up with the saying of the very famous Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada, Bhagavad Ramanuja Acharya, Madhvacharya, Vedanta Deshika, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Why didn't you come up with quotations of them, sir? Why do you have to bring the quotations of a Russian, an American, a French, a German? In my humble opinion, if I have to praise my own child, I am not going to help her in her development. I need my neighbor. I need the person who's living opposite my house to say some nice words about my child. Vedic civilization is in our hands. If we keep praising it, if we tell what Vedanta Deshika said, what Shankara said, what Ramanuja said, it will make sense. But how about listening to an American point of view about our Indian civilization? They just don't say Indian civilization was good. They say that Indian civilization was the best and is the best. When I say is the best, we have a plethora of Vedic literature yet to be explored. Vedas themselves say, the person who says I know all of it doesn't know. And the person who in humility says I don't know anything actually knows it. Similar to what our Acharyas have said, here is the humble servant called Dushyanth Sridhar who began this initiative called Abhinava Pathashala. Of course, I have to thank Corona Acharya. Had it not been the Corona in the form of an Acharya which made me think, I wouldn't have come up with this idea. So everything in this world has some moral or the other to teach. And we have something to learn from it. In my learning, I thought the easiest and the best way to dispense knowledge, besides of course the live lectures which will commence in a few months from now, and then I'll be posting them on YouTube as usual, is to make them into courses. What is the difference between offering the same content in general lectures and making it a course? When I speak in upanyasams, the general art of storytelling like a harikatha or a harikatha upanyasam or pravachanam, it comes with a lot of current affairs. I try to intersperse it with a lot of current affairs, some humor here and there, some digressing here and there, and then coming back to the topic. That's the art, and which the masses enjoy. But when we bundle them into courses, we are organizing it. See, I have always felt that we Indians were excellent at content making. We were very bad at packaging and presenting. Sorry that I'm using all these management terms. It also matters how we present it to the world. See, we had Bharatiya Sara Bodhani, the course, which has 2 levels, level 1 and level 2. Level 1 we offered in 2020. We are coming to the close of batch 1. Batch 1 had 1,648 Sishyas spread across 27 countries and 5 continents, of which of course 76% of the entire set of Sishyas who have registered and procured the course were from India. And from India we had from 16 states, 2 union territories and 72 cities. And we had ranging from all age groups. We have a 92-year-old person who has signed up. We have a 16-year-old boy who has signed up. So I don't see any starkingly astonishing or shocking pattern where only the elderly people have signed up. No, the working, the professionals, the parents, the young, the people who have not even married, just joined work, they have joined. It gives a lot of energy to me to say, okay, why don't I come up with more courses in depth? Now, probably we could take up each of these subjects itself into a course. And we have a plethora, so there is no shortage of literature in our Vedic civilization. How we present it matters. Of course, I've used English as the medium of communication. A lot of them who have been accustomed to my Tamil Upanyasams have been requesting me for Tamil course. Very soon we will be launching a Tamil course as well. More details will come in the month of November and December. Please wait until then. I'm first of all very thankful to each of you Sishyas who have managed to attend this course. See, this course had the thought of making us aware how important Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavata, the Puranas, the Indian architecture. See, of course, Ramayana, Mahabharata is for reading and internalizing. When I speak about architecture, my thought was, why don't we take up the work of visiting our own temples, our own places of archaeological importance. I am not a person who will tell that you'll have to visit only your motherland. Please go to Cambodia, please go to Sri Lanka, please go till the west. There's beauty to see, there's nature, there's monuments to see. But let's begin somewhere. If we don't lend our hand for these places of lesser known importance. We may know an Ajanta, we may know an Ellora, we may know a Brihadishwara temple, we may know a Gangaikonda Cholapuram, we may know a Ramappa temple in Telangana, we may not know a Barabar caves in Bihar. We may know of Rani Ki Vav, but we may not know of certain temples like Halebeedu. People may know Belur, they may not know Halebeedu of the Hoysala architecture. So my intent was just not to bring the points under Indian architecture, but also to promote our domestic tourism. So whenever things normalize, I would urge all of you, when you plan a family holiday, make it entertainment. I am not of a person who says, oh, you'll have to keep getting yourself only into devotion. Make some time for entertainment, but please do visit these temples, because these temples are just not places of worship, they are places of architectural wonder. And when I spoke about Indian architecture, the Sishyas will know, my intent was not to go in depth into Kalidasa. For Kalidasa, we had only 40 minutes dedicated. For him, we can have an entire lifetime. But in these 3 classes of India, the Sanskrit literature that we discussed, my intent was to let you know that look what kind of poets and playwrights we had. Of course, we need to celebrate Shakespeare. I do adore Keats. I do have great respects for Shelley. What a beautiful work is Paradise Lost. All that is there. But let's appreciate our Sanskrit literature. Of course, in level 2, when it comes up in 2021, I'm going to talk about literature in the regional Indian languages, the Tamil language, the Malayalam, Telugu, Kannada, Marathi, Hindi, Bengali, because as much as we give importance to Sanskrit, we must give equal importance to these spoken languages as well. It is we who must take pride in speaking our Indian languages. So that was the intent. So the intent was not to give you an in-depth knowledge. Of course, a lot of you did say that it's very heavy, sir. For those of you who are never used to listening or reading, it may have sounded heavy. For those of you who have been listening to my lectures, it could be my own content packed in a different form. But whichever way it is, the intent was, I can tell you from my side, was to bring somewhere, ignite that spark for our Vedic knowledge, the urge to know Vedic knowledge. There will be more courses to come. You'll all be joining. And some of you also felt, sir, we were busy on certain Saturdays and Sundays. Why didn't you extend the 36 hours? You should have made that available like for the entire year. There are so many academies that operate that way. Why didn't you do that? Please know the name. It's Abhinava E Pathashala. Pathashala has certain rules, which is the biggest rule that we have relaxed. There is no person-to-person interaction. I am sitting and you're sitting in some other continent. So that's the biggest relaxation we have made. Sparing 1 hour in a period of 36 hours is very important. I know some of you said, sir, half of it is lost in sleep. Tondaradi Podiyalvar in the Tamil tradition says, Paadi Urangi Pogum. I agree. But you may have to reduce your sleep hours by 1 hour and watch for that 1 hour. Discipline and time management is something that probably you have all been people of great repute and great scholastic achievements. I'm sure you have all risen to greater heights because of your hard work. But my only request is spare that 1 hour time. Think that this is it. I have to spare. Do what come may. Even if you're in the hospital, get out. Or if you're in the ward, have your mobile and listen. This is both mobile friendly and desktop and laptop friendly, right? So you will have to make time. And some of you felt, so why couldn't we have more questions? It would have brought us that interest. See, with such simple questions, we had about say 60% of the Sishyas undertaking the assessment. There was no compulsion, so good. And we have had an average rating of close to 4.2 on 5, which is very, very good. So most of you who have attended have passed in distinction, just that I won't be able to offer you any prize. So a big applause for all of you. And the attendance for 1,648 students, mind you, for an average for 20 e-lessons was a whooping 90.2 if I'm right, because initially it used to be 96, then it came down to 87 in one lecture, then it became 88. On an average it was 90, so which is very, very good. I don't remember in my college days any of the classes, even I have had that kind of an attendance. So thanks again, a big round of applause to those of you who have managed time, the elderly people, the professionals, the working professionals, the mothers, the fathers, and the youngsters. Thank you so much. And some of you wanted to have queries. You had some queries and you wanted to raise it. I know intentionally we didn't give a text box to put in your queries, because if you have 1,600 questions, who is going to sit and first of all analyze and bucket them, leave alone giving the answers? So my suggestion is, please follow me on my YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button. Follow me on my Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. So you can write questions to me as a message. I will collate them and I'll check how to give answers through videos. I'll make those videos public so that even if somebody else has doubts as similar as yours, they can get an answer to it, only if I know the answer. Some of you wanted, you felt, sir, feedback you have given that 5 is best and 1 is worst. We wanted to give some written feedback as well. Again, analyzing 1,600 feedbacks is just not possible, so we made that number. And those of you who felt certain lectures were poor, I will try improvising on those lectures. And most of you who have said good, better, thanks for your comments. I hope my acharyas give me the knowledge to stay humble and modest. Thanks again. This has been a wonderful experience for me. May the grace of all our acharyas and Azhwars of different traditions, of different theologies and philosophies be with you all. May we all let's stay blessed under the grace of all our acharyas and Azhwars. Hope in the months to come, time will be the healing factor for those of them who have immensely suffered in the COVID period. Hope we are all back listening to live lectures. Of course, this Abhinava e-Pathashala, the e-learning initiative, is going to grow much, much bigger with all your support. Whatever you have learned, please, if you have taken down notes, please do share them with your children if they weren't a part of this course. The final motive is we should help our Vedic knowledge reach a lot of people who were not privileged in the yesteryears to receive it. So my only intent is, without any discrimination, let's offer this knowledge, and without any discrimination based on caste, creed, religion, gender. No, we are open. We have been such a wonderful society. So let's continue this process. Thank you so much. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Namaskaram.